apparently a shop in Jeju had revealed V and JK dating, or at least that's what the rumors are saying. And then we have a kissing clip between Jimin and JK being trended and talked about again. And then we have Run BTS actually being deleted. So dumplings, it's Dave Disci. Let's get into it. There is this conversation going around, and I'm not sure what this conversation really entails, but it's talking about this idea that apparently Run BTS, which is one of BTS's reality shows, was deleted and then reposted, and kind of asking why this was. Now, if you're not familiar with what Run BTS is, basically the BTS members don't go on variety shows, so they have to have their own in order for the audience to not feel like they're missing out on those variety show moments. Plus, when it's their own show, they can have longer segments, they can have less censored moments, and they can have something that will protect the boys and not have something be edited in a way that makes the boys look bad. By the way, if you are interested in checking out some of those reality show moments like Run BTS or Bon Voyage, then make sure you check out the Patreon. I'll leave that at the top of the description. There's a $1.95 tier that you can sign up for. It has access to 3,000 to 4,000 videos, all of the videos that are on there, and you can watch all those reaction videos with me there, and you can have a great time. There are definitely spots there, but they are limited, so if you're interested, make sure you check it out. I promise you there is an endless supply of videos there. You would likely not finish that amount of content for the next year. Anyway, some people were talking about how this reality show was deleted. The reality show would make a lot of people really upset if it was deleted, because it's the only way that we get to see the boys a lot more candid and get to see moments in which they are having fun, being goofy, a lot of stuff that we can't see either in their music videos or when they're doing American interviews. This is also a reason why I believe their community is so strong, is because they have these moments that they can feed to the community so often that the community actually feels like they are on those trips with the BTS boys, and they feel like they're there with the boys as the boys are doing things that they've never done before. I forget which series it was, whether it was Run BTS or Bon Voyage. The boys were trying to do skydiving, and for some of them it was their first time and they were kind of scared. And this was like a moment that we get to be there for those boys, so we can kind of realize, oh, this is like the first time they're doing something and they're allowing us to see it. So some people have theorized that the label took down the series on YouTube because the series was initially not on YouTube, and then it was reposted onto YouTube, and then they believe after it was taken down, and then for some reason it was reposted. Now, there are several reasons as to why this would happen. Likely it was not deleted on purpose, like it was removed by the website and then it just got reinstated by the website, and that's really the only theory that I have, because it would make no sense for them to delete that amount of content and then repost it. The reason why the content was initially reposted because it was on a site like Weverse, where not a lot of people have access to, and the only way it grows is within the community. So people outside the community aren't going to be able to see these series. And if there are moments in which they would have wanted to censor or take down parts of the show, they would just take down that specific moment as opposed to just deleting everything. Because the label likely has connections to the back end of YouTube to be able to change and cut things out. But most of us can do that too. Like, I can go back onto my YouTube channel and trim things out of videos that I want. And I say that because the label likely has access to more than that, so they wouldn't need to take anything down. Now, there was a kissing clip that has resurfaced amidst the new type of variety show that has come out, which is with Jimin and JK, called Are You Sure? So if you're not aware, there's a lot of rumors that have sparked due to the nature of the reality show. And so a lot of people have been bringing up old moments in which we see either Jimin and JK doing cute things to each other or doing it with each other. And people have taken those moments to say, see, look, they're dating. Look at these cute moments here. Then look at how there's a reality show of just the two of them. This clip that was in question must have happened quite some time ago, as the boys had colored hair, and a little while before they enlisted, they all went black. So this was definitely a little bit before that. Maybe around the Boy With Love era. Both Jimin and JK were backstage among the other members, and Jimin blew a kiss to JK and then JK blew it back. People were saying blowing a kiss back is wild, it's crazy, and coming up with these accusations to basically say that two people who are platonic or just friends wouldn't do something like this. First of all, I think it's absolutely insane to assume that this is anything more than just a way to show love. There are people that people feel the most comfortable doing these things with, and I'm not saying that they're for sure not dating, but I've seen people most comfortable acting gay around their straight friend. I'll give you an example of myself and some friends that I know where they're straight and they feel a little bit uncomfortable being all chummy and touchy with me as I'm in a queer relationship, but they're happy with throwing kisses and hugging and touching their other straight friends. And I guess with this idea that their straight friends aren't going to like them if they were to do those things. Now, if two guys were actually together romantically, they can still do stuff like this and it can still be a romantic thing, but to assume that just from those moments we are seeing or peering into that it's a relationship is not accurate, because as I said, there are guys that I know who would just think that they're gay because of how they act with each other, but that's just how they act with each other. But they would never do that with someone who is already in a queer or a gay relationship. So the particular clip got resurfaced again, of course amidst the show, and I think that that is very interesting. Every time something is being talked about, we'll have old moments trending. But you know what? That's great for the boys. They don't have to do anything extra, and then all this old content is still bringing them more money. Because how many people are then watching these little clips trend and then going and watching the full version or the original or then buying things? There was another photo, since we're talking about photos and videos that went viral, and this one was very interesting. Not too long ago, we got a feeling or an inkling that the boys were filming Are You Sure in Jeju and that V, Jimin, and JK were going to be there. This is very cool, however, it's just a theory. And then I think now we know that this is actually true and it is happening or had happened. And now we're seeing it. And now people are talking about a photo that was on the wall of the restaurant that all the boys were at. And the photo was a signature with JK and V. People thought this was weird because they were asking where Jimin was in this situation. Was he there? What was going on? However, a lot of people have theorized and come to the conclusion that Jimin was indeed there. He just didn't sign his own signature. And this is not a strange thing, by the way, and I think people think that it's strange when a celebrity may opt to not make themselves known. And this is strange to me because there are times or days or specific reasons in which you might not want to be known. I don't know the exact reason behind this, whether he just didn't feel comfortable with people knowing that he was at a specific restaurant, or that he liked this specific restaurant, or him feeling like he didn't want to endorse a specific restaurant, or just maybe even feeling like the food wasn't something that he enjoyed. And it doesn't mean anything bad, right? It's not his taste, right? There's plenty of objectively good restaurants, but I just don't like the food there. So obviously if I was them and didn't like the food, why would I endorse it? And I've also seen this a little bit with other things such as live streams and that sort of stuff, where sometimes the members will hide from the stream because it's like, let's say JK's on the stream and then another member comes in, but he doesn't want to be seen on the camera. So he's just kind of hiding away. And then the chat is like, why don't so-and-so come on the stream, or blah, 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 or why is so-and-so hiding? And it's not even about that. It's not even about that they hide or they're camera shy, obviously not. But sometimes you just don't want to face the world. You just don't want to do something and then be all over tomorrow's headlines. Maybe they just don't have makeup on. Maybe they just feel like their face doesn't look right because they're tired. Maybe they just don't have enough energy. Maybe they just don't feel like being social. So they're just kind of like, I don't want to hop on to say hi to a bunch of people and then leave. But from the signature, people had taken that V and JK were alone at dinner, and the shop was basically exposing that the two were in a relationship together. Hence why they were going to dinner alone together, because Jimin isn't there. So what other reason would they have to go to dinner without Jimin? And again, as I alluded to a little bit earlier, you don't need a reason to not to come out. Jimin could have been super tired and just wanted to hang back at the apartment hotel. Or he was there and, as I said, he just didn't feel like endorsing the specific restaurant. There's always a reason for these things, and I guarantee you they're not as nuanced as you would think. And they definitely are just easier to understand. You just kind of think of them as human beings. Sometimes we say no to going out to a party. Sometimes we say no to making an appearance, and that's okay. That's our right to do that. They also have a right to do that for whatever reason they want. It could just be literally that reason. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.